I decided to quit drinking while I did my dissertation. And an amazing thing happened. I managed to get the dissertation done, yes, but also a few other side effects started to happen. Hi guys, right, so today I'm going to do a video that I never thought I would ever have been able to talk about. I never thought I'd be in a position to talk about it, and it's really changed my life. So what I'm going to be talking to you about today is how I haven't had a drink of alcohol since September 2022, or the 23rd of September 2022 to be specific, which is around about, 7 months, something like that, 8 months. And it's mind-blowing. The reason that I want to talk to you about it today is not talking to you like it's some, great thing that I've done that no one else can do. But from my perspective, where I used to be, I'm from a predominantly white working class background, it would have been impossible for me to even understand how anybody could not have a drink of alcohol in such a long period of time. I remember when I met one of my best friends, he told me that he doesn't drink. And I remember asking him at the time, what? You don't drink? Does that mean you don't have fun? Because I literally could not imagine what life would be like without alcohol, because I couldn't disconnect having fun, socializing, being with friends and family. I couldn't disconnect it from not having a drink. And that's basically because almost every social interaction that I've had since, the age of about, 16 has had some form of alcohol in it. Now, it's not a moral issue. It's not that's not why I'm making the video. The reason that I'm making the video today is because I want to talk about it. Because you might be wanting to, stop drinking for a period of time. You might not be wanting to quit drinking for a period of time. Whatever situation you're in, I'm just sharing my experience. So it'd be great to understand. I'm just going to tell you about it, and you can understand whatever you want to understand. And I'd love to know your thoughts on what my story has been. So, the reason, the why, and everything starts with a why, especially when you're stopping doing something that you're used to and is normal or typical for you. The reason why I stopped drinking was because I was doing an MBA at university. Basically, I was doing a course and it required me to do something I'd never done before. I'd never written a dissertation. I'd never written something that was 15,000 words. Now, some people might not think that's a lot. I, on the other hand, thought it was Mount Olympus for me. So I had to write this thing. And essentially, I kept delaying it. I kept thinking, I'll get around to it. I'll do that at some convenient time in the future. And that convenient time never happened. So it got to the point where it was the deadline and I literally hadn't written one word. I kept getting extensions. And then I realized, I'm just going to have to face this and focus on this one topic relentlessly. And at the time, I gave up a few things, so I'll be able to do a couple more podcasts and videos about this in the future. But essentially, all at once, I gave up drinking, smoking, coffee, and lots of other things that just weren't adding to me. They were kind of taking away from my ability to focus. And I've got a lot of different stories from those experiences, but today we're talking about the alcohol piece. So I was at university and I decided to quit drinking while I did my dissertation. And an amazing thing happened. I managed to get the dissertation done, yes, but also a few other side effects started to happen. Side effects of not drinking that I had never even considered before. So I'm quite a confident, outgoing kind of person. Other people have told me they wouldn't think that I was ever anxious or nervous or scared and apprehensive. However, that's not the case. Even though I am, quite loud and talkative, it doesn't mean that I don't have those feelings. I do have those feelings. I just push them down. However, pushing those feelings down actually takes quite a lot of effort and energy. So essentially, I had 2 points of comparison from the first year that I was at university, drinking just as normal, social interacting, all that kind of stuff. Everything was fine. Then, when I had to do my dissertation, completely stopped that. And there was a new year of people that joined the university that I was at, Durham Uni. And when I was going through the exact same situation, starting a brand new year, almost a completely different set of people, but the second time, it was without alcohol. And a crazy thing happened. I wasn't as loud and, can potentially rub people up the wrong way sometimes when I've had a drink. And what that did is it also had side effects. So it had side effects where people would judge me. I felt like people would judge me a little bit more, where I wasn't in control of the narrative. I wasn't in control of, myself, my reactions. Things would happen outside of my control, I believed. However, that also then led to me feeling anxious and nervous every time I had to walk to the university buildings, because I'd be thinking, what did that person think of me? What did I say? I wasn't really sure. And it led to a whole load of things that I just thought were normal. Fast forward a year. I'm doing my dissertation militantly. Consistency is key. If you're doing one, consistency is by far the biggest factor there. Small amounts consistently done. I set myself 250 words a day and I got it done. So just be consistent. Don't judge yourself. However, as well as getting the dissertation done at the exact same time, I just wasn't drinking. And because the new year started, I was meeting new people all over again. And this time, because I wasn't drinking, I was completely in control of exactly what I was saying, exactly what I was thinking, which meant the next time I had to go and meet these people or meet the new batch of students I just met, I had almost no anxiety, no weird feelings about what did I say, what did I not say, no feeling like people were judging me. And I realised this was a byproduct of not drinking, because I was completely in control, completely responsible, response-able, which I've talked about before, which I'll talk about again. And it really shocked me how, by just not drinking, I could really take control of that anxiety and doubt. I was kind of like self-induced anxiety and doubt, which was a crazy realization for me. So that was one main benefit of not drinking. Another thing is, like I say, I didn't think that I could have fun without drinking. I didn't know that you could have fun without drinking. And there was a moment when I was in a shop and there was some music on, I was feeling pretty good, and there was a nice song on and I was like dancing a little bit. And I remember thinking, oh my God, I can dance or I can feel quite happy and I've not had a drink. How crazy is this? Because I used to think, like when my friend told me he didn't drink, if you don't drink, you don't have fun, which was my misconception. I also used to think, I can't have fun if I don't drink. So I need to drink to have fun. I need to drink to talk to people. That's what I used to think, and it was completely self-limiting beliefs. What I've done since that moment, you can hear an ice cream van just going down the road. What I've done since that moment is I've just continued it on. I was like, I wonder, if I can just carry this on. What are the other side effects that happen here? So that was a couple of little stories about my experience of not drinking, and especially while at university, because I thought that I had to be social. However, it's the complete opposite. I don't need to drink to be social. I can be super social and I can stay out late and I can party and I can do all this stuff. As one of the things that I realised is it's not necessarily drinking, it's just having something in my hand and drinking something. So I actually was just drinking like a soft drink, or a lemonade or blah, blah, blah. Now, when we go, it's actually linked to the responsibility thing that we were talking about in the last episode. And the reason it's linked is because imagine if you say, I have to drink in social situations. And you say, why do you have to drink in social situations? It's like, so I can get along with this person and that person. And then you said, okay, well, if that person wasn't there or those people weren't there, would you still have to drink? And you say, well, no, I wouldn't have to drink if they weren't there, if I was on my own, whatever. And I realised that when I was saying that, what I was actually saying was, I'm drinking because other people are there. So other people are forcing me to drink. And when I explained it to myself like that, I realised that's ridiculous. If I'm responsible, I'm not going to allow other people to make me do something, that actually gives me all these negative side effects. And like I say, no judgment here. So no judgment here. I've got a lot of friends, that, that drink, and I'm, like I say, no judgment. It's just my experience of the matter. But that really struck me because it made me realise, hang on a second, I'm in control. I'm response-able. I'm response-able. 2 words, response-able. I'm able to handle all of my responses, which means that I don't need to drink because other people are there. If I wanted to drink, I could have a drink, but I don't want to because I'm focused on my dissertation, blah, blah, blah. So by thinking of it like that, I then could take responsibility. And then I also realised, hang on, I'm not actually getting that much more out of the social situation. I think I'm being more social. I think all this kind of stuff. But that might just be in my head because I've never done it before. So they're some of the side effects, positive side effects that I've experienced. And, if you've gone through this, I'd love to know what your thoughts are. And there were a couple of hard moments, or so this was with a brand new bunch of people that I'd never met. And people assumed I was drinking even if I wasn't drinking. Now, the really tough parts for me were when I met friends that I've had for years that I've never not drank with. I've got friends that I've been friends with for, 10 years. And every time I've met them, we've always had a drink. So it's like removing what I thought was a foundational stone of our friendship. And then what I realised was you can remove it. And as long as I'm okay, and they can drink as much as they want, as long as I'm okay with not drinking, and I'm not changing how I act, and I'm not, can't wait to get home. It's all about mindset. By setting my mind, knowing that I don't need it to be the friend that I want to be. By doing that, it really allowed me to reframe some of those friendships. So now when I go to see them, it doesn't cost me X amount of money. I don't need X amount of money because I need to buy all these drinks. I actually can go and do it relatively cheap, so I can go and see my friends, have a lovely meal, whereas before I thought, it was almost wasting money having a meal with your friends. It'd be better to spend that money on drink and eat as cheaply as possible. Misconception. So they were some of the hardest points for me. And then also turning down drinks. But, I've had better relationships with those friends that I had never not drank with. So if you think that's a barrier for you, then for me, it wasn't. But that was because I got my mindset right when I went in there. And I wasn't looking at them and waiting for it to be over so I could have a drink. And that's one thing that I think you just need to do. You need to stop. Don't think about it as something that once this is over, I can get to it, because then you're waiting for the end. And the best thing to do is actually to embrace the moment, embrace the time, and enjoy the time that you have with them. So they were some of the hardest points for me. Another really tough time was Christmas. So with my dad, he actually stopped drinking for Christmas, which was pretty amazing considering we've never not drank, especially in a festive period of time, and it really blew my mind. We had a lovely time. Everybody else had a lovely time. One thing that I found is with this whole responsibility piece, if I'm in a situation where somebody can previously press my buttons and get me more angry if I shouldn't be angry, what I found is alcohol does not help. Alcohol makes you less likely to respond appropriately. And when I was in those situations, I actually started actively drinking water to sober up a little bit. So that's Christmas and all that kind of stuff. And it's also dealing with friends and family who, they're not really trying to pressure you into it. It's just because, like I say, I couldn't understand what it would be like to not drink for such a long period of time. I thought that meant not living. But it's not the case. It's just that it's so socially ingrained in, the culture, in the northern culture, in my specific northern culture, that it seems like you're doing something, crazy, something out of the ordinary. So that's my take on that. So currently, I'm not drinking. Like I say, you just need coping mechanisms really to help you understand and deal with it. One thing that I do is I realise that yes, I might not need a drink, and I don't want to drink because of other people, but I do like to have a drink because it's the action of drinking that I think is what I'm, more in the habit of doing. And it doesn't matter whether that's alcohol or not alcohol. I can have a perfectly good time. And there was a really funny moment where I was at a party with Durham. I think it's called Candlemas. And a guy came up to me and he said exactly what I had previously said to my friend. He said, "Oh my God, you don't drink, do you?" And I was like, well, no. And he said, "I could never imagine doing that. I couldn't personally do it." And that's almost exactly what I said to my friend. So, you can do things that you think are impossible, especially if they're limiting you. I suppose the question that I ask myself is this adding or taking away? Is it adding or subtracting? What am I getting from this? And when I asked myself that question honestly, I realised I wasn't really getting anything from it. But I needed a reason. My dissertation was the reason, and I nailed the dissertation. And this is the long tail of that previous behaviour change. So that's what I really wanted to share with you today, guys. And it's also the idea that you don't need to. I felt like I needed to drink to be social, to meet people, to have conversations and interactions. But what happens is, if you forget the conversations and the interactions, you start from scratch again. If you make bad impressions, you start from scratch again. And then you build that anxiety and all that kind of stuff up within you until it reaches some kind of like critical mass. So, overview of my perspective at the moment is I'm less anxious, I'm less nervous, I haven't made any, social faux pas that I need to feel anxious or nervous about. But on the flip side, I'm also a little bit more focused and determined. Now, this isn't a judgment against it, and if you drink, it's not a judgment against that. It's literally just me telling you about my situation, my story, and how it's affected me. So I wanted to thank you for listening to this podcast. This has been my overview of why I stopped drinking, how it's impacted my life, and of those things that it has impacted, how it's improved and enhanced my understanding and reasoning. So thank you for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, share, and if you want to listen to more content about conversations like this, about audiobooks, about responsibility, jobs, interviews, sales techniques, all that kind of stuff, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because we're going to be talking more about that stuff all over this channel. So thank you. It's been a pleasure speaking with you today, and I'd love to know what you think. And yeah, let me know. All right, guys. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, share, and if you want to subscribe, that'd be great. See you later. Hi, guys. Thanks for coming to my channel. This is where we're going to be looking at audiobooks and how we can improve what we can do and what we can learn from some of the best audiobooks in the world. And I want to let you in on a little secret. If you're not a fast reader, I'm not either. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be conquering that with audiobooks. We can listen to the audiobooks. I'll show you how. And if you have any questions, let me know. So let's get into this. I look forward to going on this journey with you.